Now, yes, you're smiling, September of 2008, the beginning of the GFC, the Great Financial Crisis, and so that business, I'm the last guy to turn off the lights when something isn't working, and so I held on to that business for a few years. It was a great business when I was running it. We bought the business at 1.8 million in revenue. At the peak, a few years after that, we were at 3.8 million in revenue. So we were doing well. We were running at twice the industry standard for net profitability.
Welcome to the Sharpen the Spear podcast, where we help manufacturing executives command the front and win the floor. I'm Richard Walsh, creator of the Sharpened Impact methodology, and I've spent decades helping leaders transform frontline teams, unlock hidden profit, and capture capacity they didn't even know they had. If you want to see where your leadership gaps are costing you and how to fix them, head over to grittolead.com and run the free Sharpened Impact Simulator today. Let's sharpen your edge and get started. And we are back on STS Sharpen the Spear podcast with another incredible guest. I've got Dave Parkhurst with us today. And Dave, no one knows Dave better than Dave. So Dave, give us that backstory, bring us up to speed so we can tear into a great conversation.
I will. I will. First, let me say one thing, and that is thank you for your service. About 20 feet, and this is my backstory, about 20 feet behind me, there is a 97-year-old Korean War combat vet who is my dad, who lives with me and we take care of. So that, in terms of backstory, that shaped a lot of my life. He's the only person I know who's ever been to North Korea. That's a big part of my life, and so I always we're a patriotic, military-loving household here, unashamedly. So thank you for your service. So that said, my backstory is in particular in the technology space. I have always seen the world through two sets of glasses, through technology glasses and through sales and marketing entrepreneurial glasses. So I've always run businesses, and by always, I mean I sold seeds door to door. When I was a kid, I mowed lawns. I went down to the beach on Sunday mornings to pick up aluminum cans and recycle them so I could buy a badminton set. So I've always been in sales. I've always been in marketing. And my wonderful parents bought for me the first TRS-80 Model 3 which is a Tandy Radio Shack computer for most people that don't know that I still have in my garage, by the way, in the mid 70s. And so I've always been in technology. I spent the first part of my career selling Apple computers, and that was a wonderful experience. That was the beginning of the computer revolution. And I've been kind of through three revolutions. I've been through the computer revolution, the internet revolution, and now the AI revolution. And they've all sort of been in my wheelhouse to enjoy and have fun at. That is a part of my career, and that is that I've always just geeked out on this stuff. I've always had fun. I love what I do. People talk to me sometimes about retirement, and I say, forget that conversation. I'm having too much fun making money doing it. So, that's not on the horizon for me anytime in the near future. But I worked for Apple for a number of years, and it was a great gig. I was there during the down times of Apple when Apple stock was trading at $13 a share, pre 100 splits or something like that. I was there when Steve came back to the company and revitalized the company. I was there when he announced, I was actually sitting in the audience when he announced the iPod. And that was, a seminal moment for the technology industry and for the entertainment industry. I left in 2005 to pursue other entrepreneurial interests. I had previously started in 1994. My current business is called Greenhaven Interactive. And I started Greenhaven Interactive in 1994 at the same time that I was working with Apple. Apple was a wonderful company in the sense that they didn't care if you had a side gig going on as long as you made your number. Now, if you didn't make your number, if you didn't hit your sales quota, they didn't care that you didn't sleep for 3 weeks, slaving away at making your number. It's like over goal, good rep, under goal, bad rep. So they let me do my little side gig, and it was a lot of fun because in the beginning of the internet revolution in 1994, I didn't know how anybody would make any money at this. I didn't know, really anything at all. I just saw that there was this new thing. It looked cool, and I figured there might be some money in this internet thing. And so I did what I've always done when I saw something cool. I started a business. And then I figured out from 1994 to 2005, really kind of what that meant and how to make money doing internet stuff, building websites. And then eventually when Google, started in business, helping people find websites, actually, even before then, there were search engines and such. But then in 2005, I had kind of enough of the corporate life, and I was at the sort of the high of my career with Apple, and that was a great time to exit. And I went and did actually three businesses full time. I did the internet business, Greenhaven Interactive. I also, at that time, bought a flooring company. And by flooring, I mean hardwood, carpet, vinyl, laminate. We did countertops. We did custom hardwood floors, all sorts of fun stuff. And that was a great gig until September of 2008. Now, yes, you're smiling, September of 2008, the beginning of the GFC, the great financial crisis. And so that business, I'm the last guy to turn off the lights when something isn't working. And so I held on to that business for a few years. It was a great business when I was running it. We bought the business at 1.8 million in revenue. At the peak, a few years after that, we were at 3.8 million in revenue. So we were doing well. We were running at twice the industry standard for net profitability. So the business was booming. We were making money, but then, of course, all the banks pulled out the rug under new home construction, and about half of our business was new home construction. So I had a little bit of a loss there. So had to go through bankruptcy on that. Had to bankrupt the business. It's a painful thing. But I learned something from it. So from there, I had the choice of doing two things: either rolling up in a ball and kind of hiding from the world, or I did that for a little bit, for a month or two, right? It's like, what am I going to do with my life? I'm in my 40s, and this is not a good time. But then I revamped myself and threw everything I have into Greenhaven Interactive, and we've been growing it ever since. We're over $1 million in revenue. We do a lot with the service businesses, trades, anybody that sells expertise. That's what we do a lot with, and are up to 15 people, and nationwide, some business overseas, etc. So that's kind of my story.
That's awesome. Yeah, I was November 5th of 2008, the day after the election.
I,
I lost a half million on that day.
oh,
People just canceling, everyone was bailing. I mean, that was the final nail, if you will. That,
yep,
I'm telling you, that day I just kept answering, hanging up. I remember looking at my office manager and said, I think we're done.
yeah,
I
yeah.
don't think and we limped through part of '09 too, and I'm doing all kinds of stupid things to save the business. Right. And yeah, that was one of those things when it's who you are and everything else, and you want to make this go. And I've been
Yeah.
doing this for 20 years, and I don't, and yeah, you do all kinds of dumb things. So eventually lose the business, lose the home, the whole thing,
Yep.
So like you, and down the road I go with my 6 kids and my wife, I did the same thing. So but like you, Dave, I'm like, I didn't know what I was going to do. I
Yeah.
did know I wasn't going to do what I already did,
Right.
meaning the business and everything, and I haven't since, but we had to go figure it out, right? The
Yeah.
whole thing is like, you don't have to know, but
Right.
you have to move forward. Okay.
Exactly.
Because whatever you're going to do will lead to the thing,
Exactly.
and it's like, and people don't understand that because it's really, um, it's like void of plan. It's
Right.
like,
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
but you gotta move forward. I told you, if you can breathe, if you can take a breath, you're in the fight.
Yes.
It's just,
Absolutely. Well, can I share an idea? I think I might have shared this with you in offline, um, that I took from that, and it's just a phrase that came to me one day, some many years ago, and that is fail to succeed. right?
Mhm.
So you can look at that phrase, fail to succeed, and you can say, Dave failed to succeed in his flooring business. You can say that, and that would be true. Now, the other way to look at that phrase, and I'm sure I'm not the only person who's ever come up with this, but it's meaningful to me. Um, you could also look at that and say, you used failure. Failure made me. Oh, I'm great with English. Failure made me succeed. Failure built the business that I have right now, which is a pretty successful digital marketing business. And so what you just said, it just hits home with me because that's exactly the attitude and the mindset I think that you have to take when those types of things hit you that make you even question, yeah, because we roll ourselves up in our business, don't we? I mean, I roll
Yeah.
myself up. In each of my businesses, I roll myself up in this. I
Mhm.
am this, right? And then when this fails, it's like, well, who am I? And so
Yeah.
that's the kind of the little Aesop's fable lesson I took from that. I might write a book called that sometime to add to the many books that are written about that.
Yeah, I think you're right. I'm similar to you, and failure is just it's a stepping stone. So I tell people you're gonna fail, you're gonna get beat up, you're gonna get scars, you're gonna get punched in the face. It's all good. You take that and then you roll it into the thing you're doing, the next thing. Like, yeah, obviously you don't want to repeat those,
Right.
right? But no one has reached any significant level of success without failures.
Exactly.
And you
Exactly.
have to really grasp onto that and know that like this is part of the journey. I wouldn't trade any of those failures. And I'm talking losing everything in
Sure.
08, 09,
Yeah.
like complete the like that had to happen.
Yes.
If that didn't happen, there's no way I could have written best-selling books,
Yep.
coaching people, building more businesses, and like now I'm doing this incredible stuff. Like I could never have done that because I was trapped. I had to learn, and we talked about identity. A big thing I always share with people is I was my business, right? I mean, always
Yes.
had a shirt, had a hat. I mean, you're the same way, right? But
Yeah.
really, like I'm the one that creates. I do all this, and that day when I woke up and realized that I can't do that anymore, who am I? What am I? I mean, I burned my uniforms. I had stuff on video. I'm like, never. And it's been 16, almost 17 years now, right? I've
Yeah.
never built another water feature. I haven't done another sculpture, right? And
Right.
I'm like internationally recognized. I was like top of my game because it owned me,
Yes. Yeah.
So what that did for me, Dave, was force me in the next business, which ended up being a gym. More of
Hmm.
a gym is like I always told you, I had one litmus test. Okay. It's real scientific. Okay. Ready? If my wife calls me, can I be home in 15 minutes?
Oh, that's
That
good.
was my scientific, litmus test. So I took that and said, I'm gonna build this business around that. We had
Yeah.
six little kids,
Sure.
4 and under at the time. It's like we're gonna homeschool them. Like if she needs me, she never really needed me. I don't know if that's good or bad, but if she did call, I could go, right? So
Right.
I was always like, that's what so how do I have to build the business like that? And
Yeah.
that became this model where I learned to systemize, I learned to delegate, or do all
Absolutely.
this really cool stuff.
Yeah.
Because my previous business, yeah, we were great at what we did. I had people working for me. But what I realized, hindsight, I just hired me,
Yeah.
people just like me. So there was no leadership involved because we all took care of ourselves and they all did perfect work. We all ran the same mission. And it was like, it
Right.
just by chance, I was like, well, I just hired a bunch of me so we could all
Right.
get along. Okay. So, and I don't recommend that obviously as a thing. So
Right.
it was really an opportunity to revamp everything and then
Yeah.
start helping others and build and find the correct way to build a business that serves you and you don't serve it. And, the rest is history. Right. So,
Yeah.
in your case, so similar in 08, you see the end, it kind of comes like me. I did a lot of stupid things to keep it afloat.
Oh yeah.
It
Oh
just
yeah.
just
Oh
just just drove me in the dirt. It
yes.
was like, yeah, really stupid. I mean, I
Yes.
remember my wife just like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
why are you doing this and this and this? And I'm like, I was uncoachable.
Yeah.
There's no, I mean, the whole 20 years.
Sure.
Okay. Like I'm a Marine, so I'm a little thick. All right. And I will get to the end no matter what it takes. Okay. It'll
Yes.
be
Yeah.
twice as hard and twice as long, but I'll get there
Right.
all
Right.
by myself.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's kind of I don't recommend that. I tell my kids, be who I am, not who I was.
Right, right.
Don't be that way. But so what you run into, let me just dissect that those
Sure,
few months post '08, because I know what I went through and others. It was unless some people remember, some don't, some went through it, some suffered, some gained. Okay,
sure,
that's the nature of all collapses, right?
sure.
So kind of what was your process? I'd love to kind of dig into that a little bit.
Well, so the first part of the process is denial. 100% denial. It's like, this can't be happening. It can't be, well, no, this can be happening to those folks out there, not to me. Can't be happening to me, right? So the first few months of that was denial, and was also well, it was maybe a little bit longer than the first few months, learning that I had to get out of my own image in order to proceed. In other words, and by that I mean that I had this belief system about myself, about what I could accomplish, and about my skills and my intelligence and my strength and my resilience. I had all of these, and the problem is, of course, if you have any level of success, if you have any level of success in life, people say nice things to you about you. They tell you how good you are, and they tell you, and sometimes they even put you on a pedestal. And I will never put anybody ever after that experience ever on a pedestal, because it's a long way to fall. And so I had to unlearn a few things about that. I had to learn some humility. I mean, I really had to decide here that, one, I can't just power through it. I'm not a Marine, but some of the things you just said are, resonate with me. I'm like, I'll go through it. And it's because I had those belief systems about what I could accomplish and
Mhm.
what couldn't stop me. And I mean, it's a positive attitude. I've always been a positive mental attitude kind of guy, and a type of guy that believes that there's nothing that's impossible for me. But I had to unlearn a few of those things and make sure that I had a clear vision about what I was really facing. Now, it took more than just a few months for that to happen, because in the first several months, I had to do all sorts of stupid things. You mentioned that. I'll tell you about some of my stupid things. Liquidating my 401k to try and save my business. I had a nice, I when I left Apple, I had stock that I had accumulated at 13, 14, 15, $20 a share. They had a great employee stock program where you could accumulate stock. And sometimes people say, "Well, how much stock did you have, Dave?" And I say, I don't talk about that. I don't know. And it is intentional that I don't know, because I liquidated all of it to try and save my business. And if I hadn't, then things might be different in my retirement plan right now. So I did that. I did stupid things like that. I borrowed money from my parents, which they were retired, and that was and they believed in me, right? And they
Mhm.
believed in me, and so they loaned me money that they never got paid back. Just didn't happen. So I did all those stupid things, and then eventually realized that I'm going to have to take a different path here. I'm going to have to take a path, one, to make some money, because I've got a mortgage. We've got a family to feed. I have four daughters. I have four kids. They're all grown now, but I had to keep feeding my kids. And I also had to figure out contingency plans for my employees, right? Because when you're running a business, your employees, they're not your family, but they're a step below your family.
Mhm.
They're, almost there. And so I didn't want them to suffer because of what was happening. I couldn't prevent all of that, of course. And so I had to realize that too. And then I had to formulate a new plan. And the new plan to at the beginning was chicken wire, duct tape, and chewing gum. It's putting things together to try and keep the wheels on. Once I realized I couldn't keep the wheels on the flooring company car, then I had to figure out how to keep the wheels on the Dave and family car. And
Mhm.
so I did things like I signed up for a a presenter's job for a company that goes out into schools and shows teachers how to um, get their student loans paid off. And so I did that in the afternoons. I did Greenhaven in the mornings and in between. And they paid me $100 per presentation. And I would just drive all over the place, giving this little presentation, and I made some and hallelujah, that was a good thing for me. It helped me get through things. Um, but those are kind of the survival things at first. And then probably it took about 2 years, 2.5 years from there to the point where I could actually get to proactive, positive growth things. And that's when I started looking at, well, what can we do to build Greenhaven? It was me and one other guy, a friend of mine that I since high school. And so we started looking at how do we do this, at nights, on the weekends, between the other things we're doing. And that's kind of how that path initially developed. And, but again, I had to just get up and I had to realize that I'm not too good or I was I did really well at Apple but I'm going to go out and I'm going to go into elementary schools and talk to elementary teachers. I'm not too good for that. I had to realize that. I had to realize that you do what you got to do within the bounds of the law and ethics and morality to survive those things.
Yeah, I think, Dave, it's what I learned too, and it's the same thing. I can put it down to the 3-letter word, and that's ego.
Yes, yes.
It's just my ego was so incredibly inflated.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm in magazines, I'm on TV, I win awards, I'm building world-class, exhibits, I'm doing all this stuff. I'm like, I am the guy, and I'm just looking to do the next great thing.
right.
Because I'm me.
That's what I do.
So it was just, but that bubble got popped with the rest of the bubble right around us in '09. And that's when I had the kind of that epiphany. And I've really tried to maintain that. Anyone I work with, I coach and help these businesses is really got to check that ego.
Yes.
Like, there's a place for ego. Don't get me wrong. Like there's a time when it's got to, it's like being a lion and a lamb.
Right.
There's a time to be a lamb. There's time to be a lion. Okay. But
right.
you're more the lamb than a lion. Okay.
Right.
Because the lion's going to eat a lot. Okay. So
yes, exactly.
you got to be careful, So my thing really is understanding that. And that was a big transformation for me going forward. Again, for running the business, my mindset, how I treated people. I mean, it was a big transformation for me, just like you figured it out, going through this, so my thing was, didn't know what I wanted to do, had to move. We lost a house, everything else. I'm like, well, I always like training people. I'm a fitness guy. I do all this other boxer and black belt, all this stuff. So I'm like, well, I'll go train. And of course, my vision is like, we're going to be in the woods and I'm dragging guys through the water. We're living in tarps, and it's like, it's going to be awesome, right? Everyone's going to suffer. It's going to be amazing. Okay. But of course I ended up working at Anytime Fitness. Okay. Right. So I'm riding my bicycle 10 miles each way and I'm working there. But hey, after a year, guess who's trainer of the year? It's me. So I'm like, because I'm pretty good. So I'm like, but I'm also an entrepreneur. So that trophy was a signal, go open a gym.
Yeah.
So I opened a boot camp style training. We did all that. So, but all that I had to go through all that just like you, but I had to really redirect on how I am putting this plan together. Because you do what you had to do, right? I'm doing this, doing that. Same thing. Like, how do I make this work? And then it slowly comes together. Then you start learning. But it's a difficult thing for a lot of people because, like you, people probably ask, well, a lot of people couldn't get through that. That's a devastation. Okay. Because I'm 20 years in business.
Sure.
And then it's gone.
Yeah.
Started from a wheelbarrow and a shovel.
Yep.
Building this and doing all this stuff. And then my wife came along kind of in the middle. So she only knew the good part. She's never built a business before.
Right.
Or been through that process. So look out.
Yeah.
Buckle up. Start again. People don't know. It's like, trying to prepare like, this is not like you came in when things were really good.
Yeah.
Like the peak of my whole thing. And I'm like, this is going to be a little shaky. So hold on, and she's hung in there. We've been married 26 years and that's all good, So multiple businesses and everything else, but it's hard,
yes.
And people don't get the journey. So you take that collapse and it's yanked out. This was overnight. Like you and I, like your industry, just like no one's building a house. No one was for 10 more years.
Yeah. Exactly.
Like there was no waiting it out.
No, there wasn't. No.
I had a builder, I think he was in 15 states.
Hmm.
And he said, he goes, it'll be at least 10 years.
Yeah.
And it was.
Yeah.
You watch nothing happening. I mean, even now it's still kind of limping.
Oh, yeah.
It's really, it's not what it was and all that stuff. But weathering that and then taking on the next goal, like you said, you're working at night, you got a friend, you're working on this, and that's what it takes. And
Yeah.
it's endless hours in multiple things because
Yes.
you're feeding the family, you're trying to get this thing off the ground. Here's my launch pad, but I don't have the fuel, to
Right.
get to the moon. So
Yes.
I gotta go, gather the fuel and do all that stuff. So I like people like you sharing the story because I don't think people get what entrepreneurship really is. Even if you haven't lost everything, you're
Right.
starting from nothing, you have an idea. That iteration period into developing a concept, launching a concept, get that whole process. That's why it's hard for me to work with those early startups like that
Yeah.
because I tell people that you don't have any scars.
Right.
You got to
Exactly.
get beat up. You got to lose some money because you can't appreciate what I can bring to the table.
Absolutely.
You know,
Well,
so
totally. I have fun conversations sometimes, especially with younger entrepreneurs and maybe people that are considering it. They're like, "Oh, so you get to start your own business and you get to work for yourself and you set your own hours and take as much vacation as you want and you don't have a boss anymore." I had somebody tell me that a while back, and I like, no, actually, I have 130 bosses. Um, and every one of them has a different personality. When I worked for Apple, at any one time, I had a boss and a hierarchy above that boss. Maybe a few people, not too many people, but I just had a few people. But now I have like 130 bosses, and so I totally agree. You have to be able to count the cost of what you're getting into. And I think that's where folks that are a little bit seasoned in business like we are, right, can offer. I love talking to younger entrepreneurs and say, look, guys, even if everything's going wonderfully right now, I had somebody say to me when I was when I was with Apple, actually, he said to me, Dave, everything you touch turns to gold. And I'm like, oh, well, thanks, shucks, oh, yeah, it's nice. But I started to believe some of that and started to believe I couldn't fail. And so as I talk to younger entrepreneurs, finish that thought, I'm like, you gotta remember that you are going to encounter failure, not necessarily because you messed up, but just because it comes to you and it happens and you have to deal with it and you have to be able to just not be brilliant and solve it the next day, but get up the next day.
right.
Just get up the next day.
Yeah, I think it's like sports. I tell people, winning is everyone can win. Winning's great. Can you lose and come back and play the next day?
Oh yeah, yeah.
That's where it's at. And I tell them, like, again, you're gonna fail at things, you're gonna make bad mistakes, it's gonna cost you money, you're gonna lose some money. Like,
Yep.
accept that early.
Yes.
No one wants to,
No.
but what's gonna happen. So don't be shocked because
Absolutely.
you made a bad decision because no one has taught you how to run a business. They
Right.
can't learn it in school. I have talked to MBAs, people who have MBAs and they're
Sure.
working a corporate job, and I'll talk to them and they know nothing about running a business.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I
Oh yeah.
talk to them and I'm just going, and I get done with the interview. I'm like, they know nothing.
Yeah.
Like, I
Yeah.
mean, I get it. I get the degree they have and where it can be applied. And if you have that degree and you haven't run a business, you have to go run a business. You have a whole nother schooling to get.
Oh yeah.
OJT, baby, on the
Totally.
job training. Like, you're gonna go
The
out
most
there and
important one.
and it's you have some ideas and you have some context, but you don't really understand that day to day, that hustle, what it
Exactly.
takes, putting it together, leading people, building teams,
Exactly.
executing day after day after day, encouraging them to get through the missteps and the failures and
Right.
everything else. And there's a lot to navigate. And I don't say this to, frighten people. I give them, like you talking to young ones, it's a wake up call.
Yes.
I kind of fire hose them. I give them a lot, and I boom, in an hour, look out. You got like
Right.
10 years of information. I'll
Yeah.
put in an hour, but I just want to be aware, like, the wide eyes and go, okay, now begin.
Yes. Yeah.
Take the thing and begin and understand, like, this way you're not blindsided.
Exactly.
Like, oh, I
Exactly.
think, yeah, I remember oh, it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
You're gonna go through these things. And that's what makes it great.
Oh, it is. It is. And I think the thing today for me that I'm so much more comfortable now, even with failure, because I don't, I don't take failure personally. I mean, it's going to happen, and I don't think that I can't fail. I keep my eyes open because I mean, you look at the animals on the plains, the majestic animals, and when they hear a noise, they zoom, they go, right? Well, it's because they're not thinking, I am just this proud animal. I can't be eaten. No, there's always somebody out there who's going to just running after you to eat you. My competition's always coming after me. So if I have that humility in that, and if I share, I mean, I'll tell you, I've been bankrupt. I've had people say to me, why do you share such a personal thing? Well, because it's okay. I mean, I'm not trying to build an image. I'm just trying
Right.
to build a business.
You do a little history check on the big success. They have multiple bankruptcies. They've got all the failures. I had one long ago. Same thing. You got to work through all this stuff. It's just part of the story. It's like you just have to know that you're going to have some other problem. You might not go bankrupt. You're going to have some other catastrophic issue. Okay,
Exactly.
and it spans the globe, right? It could be anything you could imagine. But the important thing is this authenticity. This
Yeah.
is the only way you're gonna, if you're a new entrepreneur, or even if you're starting to get a little seasoned, that you're gonna increase your probability for success.
Right. Right.
Because I do this a lot with I read a lot of books on people who do incredibly difficult things.
Hmm.
Ernest Shackleton, stuck on the ice in the South Pole for 2 years with 28 guys and brings them all back alive.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Stuck on the like, and you're crying because like the internet's broken. Okay.
Right.
Like I'm like, these guys are wiping their butt with ice chips. Okay.
Right.
Like and
Exactly.
you're like, oh, I don't get a good lunch, you know? So
Right. Right.
I mean, it's just I do that on purpose, guys who really have endured a lot of pain and suffering
Yeah.
just for perspective.
Right.
So when I'm going to go through these things, I can like, well, this is nothing, man. Just
Yeah.
get up and go.
Absolutely.
Just keep going and do that. And it can be irritating. We can have guys like you and I, we can have an irritating peace of mind to others
Sure.
because we are cool. We're like, it's not a big deal. We walking through, but that's, we've paid the price, right?
Yes.
We've
Yeah.
been through the fires. So
Yeah.
now we do have a different calm, which is
Exactly.
great. Okay. So we can be like, okay, it's all good.
Yeah.
Like I'm also that guy who like, sometimes you have a temperament or this ability when crisis strikes, I come down. I'm like
Yeah.
calm, super cool. Oh, chopped your arm off. Here, let me get that arm. Let's go take care of this in the car. You know what I
Right.
mean? I'm like, it's just
Right.
we're gonna do this. I don't, I don't have that ability to like freak out and stuff. I'm super calm in those situations.
Yeah.
And I've utilized that to power through things that I think other people would struggle a lot with or even give up.
Sure.
You
Sure.
know, I mean,
And I
there's
think that's perspective. That's perspective, right?
yeah, and I think there's a grit aspect to this.
Hmm.
That ability to grow and power through and get through that. And there's a book called Grit. I talk about this often. Angela Duckworth,
Hmm.
researcher, did that. And what she found was the highest succeeders in all levels. She did a big study at West Point for one, but is not the smartest, not the
Hmm.
most wealthy, not the most, physically capable.
Sure.
Okay. It's the people with grit
Yeah.
who don't give up and they push through and keep going, keep going, keep going. And
Right.
long time to get to the other side, but they get there, and that's where it's at. So she has a grit scale. You can take a little test, and I
Yeah.
had to take the test, Dave. So I'm a 97% grit guy.
Woo. I'm gonna
Okay,
have to read
so
that. I think I've
it's a
heard
great
the
book.
book.
Yeah, it's
I'll have
you'll
to read.
enjoy it. You'll
Yeah.
enjoy it. It's really good. But the point being, like, that's an element of entrepreneurship that you must have.
Yes. 100%. Yeah.
I mean, it just, and I use it in all things, when I work out every day and I do stuff like that. It's just, it has to become part of who you are,
Yes. Yeah.
because that's how you're going to endure, because you can't win without that mentality.
Well, and so let me ask you a question. I realize you're the interviewer, but let me ask you a
I
question.
love going back and forth. It's good.
Um,
Give them to me.
So, a lot of, because I absolutely love that. And one of the things that I think about that is the amount of grit I have to have usually now is 1 day's worth. Now, here's what I mean by that. So, like, I have an employee who's going through some tough stuff, and I said, look, if you can do today, then if you can just power through today, if you can get up today, but what about this tomorrow? No, just think about today, have the grit to get through today, and then tomorrow we'll have the same conversation. But forget about tomorrow. Today is all you really need to power through because that's the only thing you got. I mean, does that make sense?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is, and I'm a big fan of the Bible. So even Christ says this too.
One
What are you
day.
worrying about tomorrow? What are you worrying about tomorrow for? Do the
Okay.
birds worry about tomorrow? They're fed. They don't have anywhere to live. They just got a little nest and they're fed and everything else. Like tomorrow's taken care of. Don't worry about it.
Exactly.
Focus on today. Today is good. You got your needs. So I'm with you 100% there. And
Yeah.
I think you have to compartmentalize this stuff.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's just overwhelming anxiety.
Exactly.
And when you make a decision, so when people suffer anxiety, I've come to my analysis of people who suffer from anxiety. For the most part, they have an inability to make a decision,
Hmm.
and that's what causes the anxiety.
Yeah, that makes
Okay,
sense.
it doesn't have to be a right decision, a decision.
Any decision. Yeah.
Make the decision that one day, today, do it today. Hey, if it's not quite happening, you can adjust.
Yeah.
Right? Tomorrow you can adjust. How'd yesterday go? Okay, I'll do this today. So I'm with you 100%
Yeah.
on the day at a time. You have to do that. If I'm working out and so I'm hitting the bag still, right? A box, I love that. It's
Yeah.
one round at a time. It's the
Right.
next 3 minutes. Then I'll
Right.
rest them in the next minute. I do a thing in the morning. I make no decisions. I get up at 4 a.m. every day.
Right.
I make no decisions till my second cup of coffee. I do a functional mushroom coffee is
I
finished.
love it. I
So I'm
love it.
going to bed, and I tell me like, man, I'm beat. There's no way I'm working out in the morning because I go to the gym at 5:30 in the morning. So I got
Right.
that hour and a half before I Bible study. I'm drinking my coffee, but
Yeah.
I'm like, nope. I'm not saying I'm not going. So I've trained myself. No decisions. I
Yeah.
sleep really peaceful. I get up. I can get up and feel terrible. It's not time to make a decision.
Right.
Get
Right.
going, do the morning stuff, do my reading. I'm studying. Second cup gets down, I get up, going to the
Absolutely.
gym, and then I do
Yeah.
this. Just I'm only committed to the warm up. So
Good.
I say I'm going to the gym, and all I'm going to do is 10 minutes. I'm going to break a sweat.
I
If
love
I
it.
still don't feel it, I'm going home.
Yeah.
I have that license,
Yeah.
right? Guess what? Guess who never goes home?
Right.
All it takes is breaking the sweat, and I'm in the game.
Absolutely.
Now I'll have better and not so great workouts.
Sure.
Okay, depending on the day. Like today, I'll tell you today I went and it's not worth talking about. It was like, it was the go through the motions workout, you
Right.
know, and for some people that might have been a really hard workout, but I'm like I was very disappointed in myself. But it's okay because I went through the whole thing. I made the decision after the second cup. I went did a warm up. I kept going. I completed that, but I don't even want to put it in the record book. Okay, so it's
Absolutely.
just how it is. So I'm totally with you there, but I think people on the entrepreneurial side, Dave, they need to create these routines, these
Yes.
rituals, right? You ever heard? I think it was Jim Rohn said we're defined by our rituals.
Yes.
It's what
Yes.
you do every day, how you do this, how you set up your day every day. Like I
Yep.
wake up 7 days a week at 4 a.m.
Wow.
There's no sleeping in because why?
Sure.
I'm doing
Sure.
the same thing in the morning. I get my Bible study time. I watch
Yep.
this. I do this. I get my 2 cups, everything else. And,
Yep.
So I have 70 by 7, which is 70 ounces of water by 7 a.m. That's what I drink. So I have this whole thing, right? So I've got this whole routine and no
Nice.
one's up at 4 to bother me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Exactly. Phone's not.
Life is sleeping at 4 a.m. I'm the only one up in the whole world. So I love it. So I can
That's good.
always be successful every day.
Yeah.
Right. I get those first 3 hours and I'm successful every single day. So yeah, that's my big response on your question.
Well, and I mean that's kind of the way that I do my world too. I don't get up at 4 a.m.,
Right.
but so kudos for that discipline. But I have my morning procedures that I do, and I'm only committed to the next thing.
Mhm.
So I mean, I read the Bible every morning. I take one chapter. And I read that, and I've determined, as an example, not to go too far, but I've determined that whether or not I get a lot out of it that time or not, I'm doing my one chapter.
That's it.
I have one cup of coffee, and I'm tempted. As soon as I get up, I'm tempted to go over to my phone and to check and to see what's happening. But I'm like, no, there could be a crisis, but it can wait for this one thing that I'm going to do
Mhm.
and this other thing. And sometimes I actively sort of deceive myself, and I know I'm doing it. It's like, this is the only thing you're going to do today, Dave. It's the only thing. You're not going to do anything else. Do
Mhm.
this one thing. And in the back of my mind, it's like, no, you're lying to yourself. That's just a technique to get you to do the next thing. I'm like, yeah, I know that, but it doesn't matter because it works.
Right. Right. Yeah.
It
Is
works.
it a placebo if it works?
Right, right,
That's
exactly.
yes. Yeah.
It's the real stuff. If it works,
Okay.
it's the real stuff. And whenever I work out, I'm the same kind of thing. It's like, okay, I'm tired. I'm a tough day. I'm just going to do this one. I'm going to do one set. Okay, I'm done. Yeah, I'll just do one more set, just one
Yep.
more.
That's it.
This constant talk I got going on.
I did that once with push-ups. I got up. I'm like, okay, I'm doing 10 push-ups in the kitchen. So I go in the kitchen. I bang out 10. I just stand there.
Right,
Okay, I'm done. Well, I'll do 10 more. I end up
right.
doing 170.
Wow, nice.
Okay. So I'm like, I just kept going like, well, that worked out well, but I was successful at 10.
Yeah,
The success for again,
exactly.
you got to set this. And if you go past it, all good. But it's that I'm a guy who is probably, I go hard every time.
Hmm.
Every workout is everything.
Yeah.
Leave it on the floor, drain, hold the rail to go down the stairs because I'm going to fall down, that kind of thing. So
Yeah.
that's how I work out. But there's days when I can't, and I have to learn to let that go and
Right.
understand that there's going to be this wave, just like in business,
Yeah.
highs and lows and everything else. But I love the feeling of giving everything and putting everything into a
Yeah.
focused thing for 45 minutes or an hour,
Exactly. Exactly.
crushing that. And I have skills to keep sharp. And I want to be honest, my goal is to stay dangerous. Okay. I
Nice.
just want to be
Nice.
dangerous till I check out.
I love it.
Okay.
I
So
love
like,
it. I
like
love it, Richard. That's
my,
great.
my kids, you can ask my son, he was asked the other day, they're 19, 20 years old. And something about your dad, like, you think you can take him? And my son just goes, no. He's 6'6" and all this. He goes, no. I go, no, he'll kill me. So I tell him I've never had to lay a hand on my kids, raising them the whole time. I said, but it's never off the table.
Yeah.
Okay. So,
I love it.
so it's but that ability to do that, to go and exert that kind of energy,
Yeah.
for me, it's a great kickstart for the day,
Sure.
right?
Sure.
But it gives me a lot of a sense of accomplishment and
Absolutely.
I really some joy. I mean I'm weird, man. Suffering is like a thing for me. Like just I don't know. It's just like part of who I am.
I can put up with suffering in small chunks, but that's how I do it. I know there's a bunch of stuff happen. We're dealing with some hackers and Google stuff right now, and it's this big, but I deal with one little chunk of that suffering at a time,
Mhm.
and that's for me, that's the way that, and I love overcoming each one of those,
Mhm.
seeing that I paid a price and I suffered a little bit for this thing that I did, but I didn't take the whole thing on at once. And I feel a sense of accomplishment, which then gives me the motivation to take on the next one. And to me, that's if I realize, I know my own personality well enough now so that I know that if I have one little success, that can lead to one little success. And maybe I have a setback the next time, but it's just one more little success along the way. And over time, it turns into a big success.
Yeah. So that being said, let's get into this because let's talk about exactly that. And it's going to be goal. I'm gonna label it goals versus targets.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
So everyone like talking, I got this goal and I want to do this in a year or 5 years or next month, whatever it is. But then I've kind of refined it to targets because I can hit targets.
Yes.
You have a bullseye to aim for. And
Absolutely.
just like you're describing, I think what people don't do is what you're doing, incremental targets.
Yes.
5 foot, 10 foot, 5 day, 10 day, today, like these small achievements, like you said, is consistency, right?
Yes,
Wins
exactly.
day after day get you the big result at the end. And I don't think enough people in business break it down like that.
Yeah,
It's a little too much big picture.
right.
Like
Totally.
we all need it, right? We
Yeah,
all need like where we're going. We need kind of the map, but like the map is these targets. What can you hit? What can you actually check off?
exactly.
Like you accomplish that, it's done. Check it.
Right.
Because as you can probably tell, I'm not a multitasker.
Right.
I'm a little all or nothing guy.
How
Okay,
many
so
people are multitaskers though, right? I mean,
yeah,
I think because to me, if you say to somebody, I heard this or read it some years ago. If you say to somebody, here's four numbers, add them all up simultaneously, they can't do it because you can only add two numbers at a time, right? You could only add one plus one. You can't add one plus two plus eight plus six. You break it down, you reduce it. And so to me, that's like the goals versus targets. So we've got in our company, we've got a huge audacious goal
mhm,
by the year 2030. We're going to be 10 times the size, revenue size as we are today. And
nice.
as a result of that, we're going to take my entire staff to Hawaii, to South Maui, very specifically to South Maui, because I love South Maui. And it's going to be on my birthday, May 31st, 2030. And we're going to throw a party, both that we achieve this goal and for my birthday. So now, but that, if I just left it at that, then it's useless. It's
Yeah,
ridiculous.
never hitting it.
Never,
Never hitting
never,
it. Right.
never going to hit it. So what we take it from there is say, okay, now we're going to reverse engineer this. We're going to reverse engineer it by dates and by tasks, by years, by months, by days, by job descriptions, by our project management system, by our pricing structure. We're going to reverse engineer everything from this. It's our guiding, our big picture. We're reverse engineering that back to today and what we can do on Friday, the 16th of
Right.
2026.
Yep.
And that's kind of how we differentiate targets from goals. And there's different levels of targets too, right? I mean,
Mhm,
there's
yep.
there's this tiny target of what I'm going to do at 1 o'clock after you and I are done. And then there's the bigger goal of what I want to see as a target that's accomplished today. I think that's kind of what you're talking about, right?
Exactly. Exactly. And you have to go to that detail. This is what's important. This is what we need. People need to take away from this portion here is
Yes.
you've got to be that detailed.
Right.
Okay, because you're giving marching orders. If you're going to give direction, if you're going to lead people, okay, it can't be, yeah, we'll get to the South Pole. Let me know when you're there. Give me a call.
Yeah.
Okay, like that's all I'm giving you. Like you
Right.
got to go.
Right.
Like not probably not going to get there. Right.
No.
So it's like you'll start by booking this plane, drive here, do this airport thing, go here, go here, go here, whatever, and you'll get there. Right.
Yeah.
But I've laid it out for you. And
Exactly.
here's the plane, here's the ticket. So they really, but it's more detailed than people anticipate
Totally.
because
Totally.
because you'll skip things, you'll miss things. Now I'm kind of a natural overthinker. I go
Right.
really deep on stuff, and I've learned to rein that in.
Sure.
Okay, but it gives me an advantage when it comes to details like that.
Sure.
I can see it. I know cause and effect really well. I can see that
Right.
kind of stuff. I have a high level of discernment, so I
Right.
understand what that does. So that helps me lay this stuff out for the people,
Right.
right? So I give them this thing that seems like, man, it's a lot, but that's what you're going to need.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
there's no doubt in this.
Yes. Yeah.
Follow the
Exactly.
plan. You're going to get there. It's like the written GPS. I
Yes.
just
Yeah.
wrote it out for you. Make the turns where I tell you to make the turns. Go here, do this, do that, and you'll get to the target or the
Absolutely.
goal as you hit these targets, which is every stop, right? So I love it. I love it.
Well, and that's exactly what I've said to my staff. And that is, I said when I rolled this out it was about a year ago when I rolled this Maui goal out. And I said, here's what we are going to do. And they're like, oh, we're going to do this? And I said, yes, we're going to do this. And it's like, well, how are we going to do that? And I said, that's where we're going to come together as a group. And so there is no doubt. Wherever we find doubt, we're going to analyze that and say, why is there doubt here? What are the variables? What are the risks? Who can we bring to bear on this? Like for me, in I've got a management team of three. It's myself and two other people, and I've got some incredibly good detail people that are on my management team with me. And in the places where I am weak, they are strong and they can find things that I don't find. So in creating those targets to reach that goal, the small, medium, and large targets to reach the goal, I surround myself with people that can bolster my own inabilities. And that's where that humility thing we talked about earlier is I was like, I'm not good at this. You guys, I need your help.
Yeah, I think that's where a lot of owners drop the ball. We get the whole show on just they either don't hire people who are better than them.
Right.
That's an ego thing,
Sure it is.
or they don't allow people to bring what they miss, or they flutter in. I'm just going to put it this way: flutter in with the as the idea fairy. I got this idea,
Yeah,
make this
yeah.
happen. They flutter out, and everyone's like, "You're out of your mind." But
Right.
now they got to try to put it together. You have to be able to accept the cons, the pros and the cons.
Absolutely.
Give me the bad news.
Right.
Give me where this could take us, and if it is, how do we overcome that? Because we still want to get there. And you
Exactly.
have to be open to receive that. You have
Right.
to let your team dissect this and be brutally honest,
Absolutely.
because it eliminates the mystery. You don't get shocked when you run into that unintended consequence that was right in front of everybody except you.
Right.
Right,
Right.
everybody it's going to happen. You're shocked. They're all going, yeah, we knew this, you just didn't listen.
Yeah,
Right, so
exactly.
there's a real great give and take if you're able to do it. If you're mature enough, again,
Yes,
put the ego in a box.
that's it.
Just put it in a box and get out there and put this on the table. Now, I don't let the lunatics run the asylum.
No, no, of course not.
Don't get me wrong. So
Yeah.
I'm still leading this company, but I love my frontline intelligence.
Yes.
I want my guys out there doing it. I go to them first.
Yes.
What do you see? What's happening? What's the reality? Bring that back, and then you work your way back up, and you see the disparity in what each group has seen.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be different, good or bad. But you have to understand that, and you have to kind of okay, well, we got to close these gaps somehow. We're not all on the same page here.
Right.
That's a big deal, right? Because
Exactly.
there's interpretation, there's removal. They're not
Mhm.
in that portion of it. So I know we're getting kind of in the weeds, but you got to understand that a business has a lot of moving parts.
Right.
I don't care if it's 5 employees or 500.
Right.
It's still a lot of moving parts. If you're the conductor of the orchestra, which is kind of my analogy, you have
Mhm.
to let the players play. All
Right.
you're doing is keeping them on the same page, a little
Absolutely.
louder, a little softer, a little this, a little that. Okay, we're making beautiful music, but they've
Exactly.
got the skills. I can't play the violin. I
Right.
don't play the cello. I can't play anything. Okay, so but I'm waving the baton. That I can do. I got an ear, so I can do that. So
Well,
that's
and
kind of
as
where
an
it's at.
investor, if you invest in a business, it seems to me that the most important thing as an investor is you want a return on your investment, right? And the only way you get a return on an investment where people are involved is to utilize them to their highest capacity.
That's it.
And so for me, I've got people that are really good at things that I'm not really good at, or that I might be marginally good at. I mean,
Mhm.
it's not like I'm an idiot or anything, but
Right.
there's people on my team that are better at things than I am. And so at the end of the day, of course, I have to break the ties. I've got to make the decisions, all of
Mhm.
that. And I don't, cede that to anybody else. But I do want all of my people to be free and to be encouraged to bring their best ideas and to not worry about me shutting them down, because
Yeah.
then I'm not a good investor.
Yeah. You've got to enable your teams to win.
Yes.
So my big thing, I talk about this a lot. I said what I see in a lot of businesses is they haven't built the lanes out properly for people to win every day, every week, every month, every quarter, every year. Like when people can come to a place to work and they know how to win every day, where are they going to go every day?
Right.
to work to win. Okay. Because winning feels pretty good.
I love it.
Okay. It's like, so I want to go to work. I mean, sometimes it's better than being at home. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Because depending
Yeah,
on the
yeah.
situation, right? I used to
Right.
always say early on, I was like, man, I love Mondays. Monday's my favorite day of the week because I get to go to work to relax. Because I got 6 little kids, a wife, and
Right,
everything is
right.
and we're going here, going there. I'm like, oh my god, this is just chaos.
Yeah,
Okay, so I'm like, I tell people I go to work to relax.
yeah,
Okay,
exactly,
so
exactly.
but it's I'm joking obviously, but
Right.
it is that element of when things aren't structured properly and they don't know how to win. I call
Yes.
it a mystery job. Every day things are coming from different
Mm,
directions. They're
that's good.
ducking and bobbing, and trying like, well, how am I going to do that? I didn't even
Yeah.
know I was hired to do that. Now I'm getting yelled at for not doing something I didn't even know I'm accountable for. That's
Yeah.
really common in a lot of smaller businesses, even bigger
Yeah.
businesses. So we have to look at that from an ownership standpoint. Like, how are we enabling our team to win?
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
what am I doing? Okay, what am I doing? How am I preventing them? How I, the owner, am
Right.
preventing them from winning?
Right.
That's a humble question.
It is.
You gotta say, how am I? Because I got news for everybody. Us owners, we're the major problem in the business.
Totally agree.
Okay. And you know what? That's a thing. If you grasp that and that becomes a mindset, you watch your business change for the better, like
Exactly.
starting today.
Yep.
Because you'll
Totally.
realize, like, in those great people you have, you're going to start hiring even better people
Exactly.
because you know that they need to be better than you at this, this, this. I don't want to do accounting. I don't want to chase money. I don't want to do that. I got bigger things to handle. So
Exactly.
yeah, I love
Exactly.
it. I love it. What a discussion, Dave. This has been a lot of fun. This is
Oh,
really
yeah.
and sometimes we need these conversations from loss to success to let's get in the weeds a little bit. What does this actually look like to go through? Because we often hear, oh yeah, 08, 09. Now that's getting kind of a while ago.
Yeah, it
You
is. Yeah.
know, sort of thinking like,
Yeah.
dang, that's a long time ago. My kids are all like moved out and they were little.
Right.
But you hear that, then you hear success. And no one kind of fills in the gap.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
And
Exactly.
that's what they need to because that goes for a few months, 6 months, year and a half. Like no one like shares that in
Right.
detail. Like, and they need to understand there was nothing fun about it.
Not at all. No,
Okay.
not
There's
close.
nothing fun about it. And you have a family and you have kids and you're like, and where you go, I mean, it's just, you don't, but you did it and
Yeah.
need to hear like, I did it, he did it, she did it. Like we get through this stuff, but you want to hear some details because that matters. And you need to
Exactly.
prep yourself. You guys like you and I, and we've ridden the full roller coaster ride. We've been
Yes.
up, we've been down, we've seen it multiple times in the economy, right? We've gone from recession to collapse to the whole thing, right? With dot-com bubbles, we've seen it all, right?
Yeah,
Housing bubbles.
exactly.
We're about to have the AI bubble.
Yeah.
Watch that pop, right? We're all
Oh yeah.
buckle up for that one. So we've
Oh yeah.
been there, and not
Yeah.
not that we're geniuses, but we weathered all that,
Exactly. That's the key.
right?
That's the
We're
key.
not working at some gas station ringing up Twinkies.
Exactly.
Okay, we like we continue to like do the next thing and push through. So, just from that standpoint alone, if you're young, if you're a wannapreneur, as some friends of mine have labored, right? You
Oh,
want
that's
to
it.
be an entrepreneur,
Yeah.
like find guys like us.
Yeah.
Take us to lunch.
Right.
Be the best. They'll be the best. Whatever $50 you ever spend on lunch, and
Exactly.
tap us for an hour, and you will learn wisdom well beyond your years, and it's going to help
Absolutely.
you. So that's always my encouragement. But with that being
Oh
said,
yeah.
like we're let people know how they can contact you, follow you, whatever you're looking
Yeah.
at. You know the drill.
You bet. So, Greenhaven Interactive is our website. So you can find us there. We are on social media, greenhaveninteractive.com. You can find me on, we have a YouTube channel where we're starting to publish some more videos, AI videos, and how-to videos and things of this nature. So all the digital spaces, but greenhaveninteractive.com, you search on Google and you will find us.
Awesome, awesome. Well, Dave, great conversation. I appreciate all the time, really just sharing with us all the good and bad stuff.
You
It means a
bet.
lot. It means a lot to the listeners, means a lot to me, and I've really enjoyed the conversation. So
I did
thank you
too.
for being here. Yeah, awesome.
Thanks
And
so
for
much.
everybody else, we'll see you on the next STS podcast. Thanks for joining me on the Sharpen the Spear podcast. If you're a manufacturing executive and you're serious about unlocking hidden profit improving frontline leadership, and taking control of your floor? Go to grit2lead.com right now. Run the free Sharpened Impact Simulator and discover your biggest opportunities are hiding. Don't leave millions on the table. Sharpen your spear, lead from the front, and win the floor. Until next time, stay sharp.